The Mario sports games has been heading down a path in recent years that a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of. They're more bland, have less characters, and they lack that charm that earlier Mario sports titles had. But when people refer back to those charming sports titles, it's Mario Golf Advanced Tour, Mario Power Tennis, Mario Strikers Charged, and even Mario Sluggers, the baseball game. But one game that a lot of people don't really talk about is Mario Hoops 3-on-3 for the DS, also known as Mario Slam Basketball here in Europe. And this is, in my opinion, one of the best Mario sports games that has ever been made. Mario and basketball mashed into one. But it's not just basketball, it's a hybrid Mario version of it, with unique rules, stages with hazards, items, loads of characters, and controls that we haven't seen in a Mario game since, mainly because it uses the DS's touchscreen. You shoot, defend, and dribble around all with the stylus, and it's really satisfying to pull off. Now, I feel like it's the kind of thing where you have to try it before you understand how great it truly is. Now, if you dribble around your character, they will dribble the ball around. If you're running while dribbling and then change where you have the ball, they will pass it through their legs. It's really satisfying to pull off. But the moveset is actually quite advanced. There's loads of different techniques that you can use both when attacking and defending. That has a whole little menu with the entire moveset in these fun little minigame tutorials. There's loads of attacking exercises and defending ones that you get to try out multiple times, and I really recommend doing all of these because they will up your game exponentially. This game also has a feature which is fairly similar to the one found in Mario Strikers, which is the special shot, but here they play out a bit differently. You don't just hold down a button and have to time a little meter. No, you have to actually learn different patterns depending on which characters you have in play. Now, the patterns you have to tap out with your stylus. So Mario will have an M, Luigi will have an L, and Wario will have a W. But then we also have some characters that are just a bit wildcards. We have Yoshi, which is also an M, same with Diddy Kong, and then Daisy and Peach have this reverse triangle. But what I think is really cool is that you need to remember these patterns for each character if you want to do these special shots. So if you have 3 completely different characters, chances are you have to remember 3 different patterns. They have these really flashy animations which are just a joy to watch. Like Waluigi will have one where he swims through water which is not really there, and Yoshi will flutter in the air and make a rainbow. It's all rather lovely. But before we talk about how the gameplay works and why it's so great, let's take a moment to talk about the characters, music, and artwork. 21 characters are in this game, so of course you don't have just the regular Mario peeps. You also have some more obscure ones. You have Paratrooper, you have Dixie Kong, and you have Fly Guy, a shy guy with a propeller on its helmet. It's a fun pun. But what you also have is Final Fantasy characters, because this game was developed by Square Enix. And my favorite of them is actually here in the background. There he is. Cactuar, you didn't go anywhere. Now, the way you select these characters is really fun. You take the small characters with your stylus and then you put them into the hoops to make them a part of your team. Now, you make a team out of 3 different characters and then you select who wants to play on the right, the left, and the center, the one in the center being your captain. They could have easily just have a menu where you select the characters, but they made it a fun little minigame with just so much charm that just stuck with me over the years. What also stuck with me is the music. Oh man, it's banger after banger with this soundtrack. We have the intro theme, a really catchy song when you actually select the characters, and then each stage has its own brilliant theme. There's a Luigi's Mansion chorus, which it isn't scary, the music. It's like bum 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 bum. It's really upbeat, and I don't know, it just fits the vibe, even though it's not normally like that when you talk about Luigi's Mansion. Now, the only thing that bugged me about this soundtrack was that I couldn't make out what the vocals were singing, but this actually makes a lot of sense when I learned that the game was called Mario Hoops 3-on-3 in other regions, because in Europe, as said before, the game was called Mario Slam Basketball. What they're singing for the most part is 3-on-3, so it's like it was one of those, oh, I feel so stupid because it was nothing I really searched upon. It was just, when I was replaying it here the other day, it just clicked and I was like, oh, I finally understand what they're singing, and thus the soundtrack was just perfect. But what also is perfect here is the artwork, sprites, and just character models. It's incredibly high quality. Now the character portraits, which you can see here, are a bit similar to the ones in Mario Strikers, but they're less grungy and just a bit more clean, but still has its really unique and original flair to it. Then in the character select menu, we have these cute versions of all the characters in pixel art that you drop in the bucket as said earlier, and when you do that, icons of all the characters appear, striking cool poses that are ready to battle. This battle, or basketball match as you could also call it, takes place on a basketball field. But these stages are not just regular stages, no. Well, the first one that's a pretty standard basketball stage, but after, we'll have so many different variations of a basketball court that completely change how the whole match will play out. We have one underwater, which makes everything really slow, and then we have another course which changes the hoops for PD Piranhas, so you have to shoot it into his mouth. Then we have one taking place in a casino where you have to pick up purple coins, and if you do, you will spin the roulette and earn even more points. And maybe you're asking, how do you earn points in this game? Well, it's completely different from regular basketball. There you have, of course, the 3-point line. If you score outside of it, it's 3 points. Inside of it, it's 2, and with free throws, it's 1 for each shot. But here in this game, they've changed it quite a bit. A regular shot is 20 points, a shot from outside the 3-point line is 30 points, and I know that's just multiplying it by 10, but then you also have the special shot, which is 40 points, but most importantly of all, is that you can increase that number exponentially by collecting coins. The way you gain coins mostly is that you dribble your basketball over an item block. These will be scattered all around the field and will have different effects depending if you're attacking or defending. Now when you defend, you don't get coins, but instead items that you can throw against the opposing player to try and gain the ball back. And if you succeed in getting loads of coins and scoring, well, you can get over 100 points since the maximum number of coins you can hold is 100. I think this is brilliant because it incentivizes you to always be on your toes. You can never be certain of anything. If you're 100 or even 200 points ahead, well, the opposing player can just gain a lot of coins and shoot, and suddenly you're even, or the other way around. Never give up. You can always make a comeback in this game, which I just absolutely love. Now you will be battling mostly in the game's main single player mode, which is Tourney. It's kind of like Mario Kart where you have different cups with different stages. Now initially you'll only have 3 cups, and once you beat them all, well, you'll unlock a 4th one, which is the Rainbow Cup. And here, if you make it all the way to the end, a really cool thing happens. Now I mentioned before that we had 5 Final Fantasy characters in the game, but it's actually not made very obvious that these are in fact in the game. It just looks like it's just a Mario sports game. But once you beat that 4th cup, a giant ship appears and steals it away just in front of your nose, and you have to go after them. And turns out these are the final characters, the Final Fantasy characters, that is. Up here you have a 4th battle, which is very unusual because all the other cups has only had 3, but this is a battle of who is the very best, and it's such an epic battle. I remember playing this as a kid, and I reached that point and I was just completely in shock. I mean, I had set my eyes on this trophy. I thought I had won. I was celebrating, and suddenly they took the trophy away and I had to fight again. And this match, it's hard, I'll tell you. But at the last possible second, I made a shot and I actually scored, and I was so happy because not only do you win the tournament, you also gain one of the characters from the opposing party, and this is Ninja. Now I thought Ninja was the coolest character growing up. I had no idea where he was from, but I had him in my party as the captain all the time. I just thought he was so cool, so OP, and I thought since I had won him in this epic way that he was better than all the characters, and maybe that made me better in the game because I was thinking, yeah, this character is good, when in fact it was just like any other character. Now I mentioned before that that final battle was hard, but once you finish that battle you will unlock hard mode, which is essentially you can replay all of these cups but with a harder difficulty. But that doesn't mean they are easy in the normal mode. Sure, they are a bit easy in the first cup because they want to ease your way into the difficulty, but they will soon be a great challenge. I found myself losing one of the battles in the 3rd cup, I think, just because the AI was just too tough. They just kept scoring and I couldn't take the ball away from them. It's a really hard balance to strike because they can be too easy or just feel like I'm just playing against a computer, it's not very fun, or they can be extremely hard, which is completely unfair. You think, man, they can just read every move I do because they are a computer. But here it kind of feels like you're playing against a real person. It's hard, but not too hard, where you win just by a tiny bit, which I think are the best battles. You can also play against another person if they also have a DS with download play and you just play wirelessly against each other, but this was designed as a single player experience and thus you can perfectly play this well by yourself. What I'm getting at here is that there's just so many great things about this game that all culminate into making what I think is one of the very best Mario sports games they've ever made. And going back and playing it, it just completely holds up. It's really fun. You have to learn the controls again because they can be quite complicated, and once you get through those easy stages, it's a really fun time. I really hope that those people who didn't know about this game will give it a shot. I just can't recommend it enough, and those of you who already did, well, I hope that this reminded you of why this is just such an incredible adventure that should be talked about more. But what are your experiences with this game? Do you like the touch controls as much as me, passing the ball around, dribbling through your legs? Well, let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, why don't you throw that subscribe button into your subscription feed? And don't forget to check out our website, nintendoLove.com, for all sorts of Nintendo-related content. Alright, that was everything from me. Stay safe, play some Mario Hoops 3-on-3 or Mario Slam Basketball if you're here in Europe, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.